The Dubai Doll, Orphans of Dubai Killings. The camera glided over the towering Dubai skyline, tracing the contours of the Burj Khalifa, as the first rays of dawn painted its steel and glass exterior in a radiant gold. The city, alive with its morning rush, seemed to pulse beneath the endless blue sky, its towering structures shimmering like jewels. But within a penthouse suite on the edge of Dubai Marina, there was only stillness. Silence clung to the room like a heavy fog. The bedroom door creaked open, breaking the quiet. Zain Ahmed slowly stepped into the darkened room, his footsteps muffled by the thick carpet beneath his feet. His eyes bloodshot from a sleepless night. Scanned to space, the soft hum of the air conditioning did nothing to ease the oppressive atmosphere. And his chest tightened, his heart began to race. As he slowly looked across the room, there she was, Layla Hassan, lying motionless on the bed. She was a vision of frozen beauty, a paradox of life and death. The white silk sheets that draped over her body were untouched by any movement, making the stillness of the scene all the more disturbing. Her once vibrant beauty, now faded in death, was almost otherworldly. Her raven hair spilled like ink across the pillow, catching the morning light and framing her delicate porcelain face. Her flawless, timeless skin and unblemished features gave her an ethereal quality, as if time had paused mid-conversation. Dark lashes cast soft shadows on her pale cheeks, while her once warm, honey-brown eyes now stared emptily at the ceiling. Zen's breath caught in his throat. He didn't know how long he had been standing there, frozen, unable to move. He felt an overwhelming wave of nausea and sorrow, his heart pounding in his chest as he slowly walked towards the bed, his legs unsteady as though the very ground beneath had been swept out from underfoot. He sank to his knees beside her, his rough hands reaching out to brush against her cold fingers. His fingers trembled as he touched her skin, the shock of the chill setting off a sharp pain in his chest. His mind raced, but it was as if all the thoughts and words he wanted to say had been wiped from existence. Nothing came out. Tears blurred his vision as he gently lifted her hand, tracing the outline of her fingers. It was too late. The woman who had once filled his world with light and love was gone. Zain closed his eyes, and in the quiet of the room, memories rushed back to him. He remembered the first time they met, when they were both just kids and she had been 16 then, wild, untamed, full of laughter. He had been hopelessly in love with her even then. As they raced through the spice market, her white sundress fluttering behind her, teasing him as she outran him with an infectious giggle. He remembered how the sun had bathed her in a golden light, how the world had seemed endless. But it wasn't all light. Zain's thoughts shifted to a darker time. Layla, 25, sitting across from him in his cramped office, her face streaked with tears, her voice barely above a whisper. "They only love me for my face, Zain. You know that, don't you?" The raw pain in her voice had broken his heart in ways he hadn't been prepared for. She had felt trapped in her beauty, a prisoner of the very thing that had made her famous. She had never been allowed to be anything other than the image they wanted her to be. Zain's breath caught again. He knew he had failed her. He had promised to protect her, to help her through the darkness. He should have been here. He should have been there for her when it mattered most. He should have known, should have seen the warning signs. His gaze moved to the nightstand beside the bed, where a glass of wine sat still half full. He picked it up, the heavy glass feeling unnatural in his grip, A faint smear of burgundy lipstick stained the rim. Zayn's stomach churned. Layla's lips had been bare the last time he'd seen her. And yet this glass had told a different story. The lipstick was unmistakable. But Layla's lips had never touched it. Something wasn't right. Zayn's fingers tightened around the glass, the cold of the crystal biting into his skin. "Who were you with, Layla?" he whispered to the still room. His voice sounded distant. Even to himself he couldn't understand. The question rattled in his mind, but there was no answer. No answer from the body that laid before him. No answer from the shadows that seemed to creep in around him. Zayn's eyes narrowed as a sense of dread washed over him. He stood up slowly, his gaze scanning the room now, acutely aware of every detail. There was something wrong here, something that didn't add up. And as he turned his attention to the window, he caught a glimpse of something that made his blood run cold. A shadow, a figure standing just outside the penthouse, watching him through binoculars. Zayn's phone cast a soft glow in the dim room. As he scrolled through Layla's Instagram, he paused on her latest post, a video showcasing her polished image. The caption read "Light and Shadows." But what caught his attention wasn't the caption. It was the reflection in the mirror behind her. For a split second, Zayn noticed a shadowy figure with a man's watch. Just out of focus, he zoomed in. Recognizing the glint of gold, it was Kareem's watch. His heart skipped a beat. The pieces were starting to fit together, but there were so many missing. Why would Layla post this, knowing someone she trusted was involved in her demise? The phone buzzed again. Zayn's gaze flicked to the screen. An unknown number. With a sigh, he answered. "Stop digging, Zayn, or you'll end up like her." The distorted voice sent chills through Zayn. Making his stomach drop, he hung up, his pulse racing. Layla's life had always seemed like a fairy tale. Glamorous photos, exclusive parties, millions of admirers. But now Zayn saw it differently. Something dark had been lurking in her life. Something she had been running from for years. As he sat back, Zayn's thoughts drifted to the past. To a time before the fame, when Layla was more than just a public figure, but someone real. Zayn's office had been small and cluttered with files, a stark contrast to the glamorous life Layla would later lead. She stood there in a chic boutique dress, eyes filled with excitement. Beside her was Rami Khalid, the smooth-talking talent manager, his arm draped possessively around her shoulders. "You've got the look, Layla," he had said with a smirk, eyeing her like a commodity. "I can make you a star. All you have to do is sign this." Zayn watched as Rami gave Layla the contract. His eyes full of greed, she hesitated, but couldn't resist the lure of fame. Rami assured her that her looks would grab the world's attention. This was the start of something big, bound to consume her. Layla left with hope, but Zayn knew the world would soon swallow her whole. Flashback to when Layla was 28. Late one night, Layla showed up at Zayn's office, crying, makeup smeared, hands shaking. Zayn barely recognized her. "They want me to endorse a scam brand," she sobbed. "Rami says, if I refuse, he'll ruin me." Zayn was shocked. Layla was, once so free, was trapped in a corrupt system. "You don't have to do it. I'll help you," he offered, but she shook her head. "No one can help me now." Zayn snapped back to the present, remembering everything Layla had told him. She had fought against the lies, but they had destroyed her. He watched a video of Layla smiling, but in the background, a man with Kareem's watch appeared. This wasn't just a video, it was a message. Her death wasn't an accident. One text stood out: "Meet me at the warehouse. Bring the evidence. K." Kareem was involved. Zayn closed the phone, realizing the danger this could cost him his life too. The sun was rising as Zayn entered his office. The caseboard in front of him was covered in photos and notes. Layla's death wasn't accidental. It was part of something much darker. He knew he couldn't trust anyone. They each held a piece of the truth. But getting it wouldn't be easy. Interview with Rami, Khalid manager. Zayn stepped into Rami Khalid's sleek modern office. Its design had clear contrast to his own. Rami sat behind a minimalist desk, adjusting his expensive Rolex with a smug smile. "Zayn Ahmed," Rami greeted smoothly. "You were always Layla's last hope." Zayn didn't waste time. "I'm here about Layla." Rami leaned back. "Layla, such a loss. She was a star, but stars burn out." Zayn's frustration grew. "You didn't care about her? Just the money?" Rami's tone turned cold. "I made her a star. She overdosed. Tragic but expected." Zayn leaned forward. "She didn't overdose. She was murdered." Rami's smirk faltered briefly. "Look elsewhere for answers." Before leaving, Zayn noticed a photo of Layla and a sad-looking girl. "Who's this?" Rami snapped. "None of your business. Get out." Interview with Nora Al-Farsi, friend. Zayn arrived at Nora Al-Farsi's penthouse. The place was warm and inviting, a stark contrast to Rami's office. Nora sat on the couch holding a glass of wine. "Sit down, Zayn," she said with a smile that felt both sweet and cold. "You're always digging up trouble." Zayn ignored the jab. "I'm here about Layla." "What do you know?" Nora sighed, placing her glass down. Layla was paranoid. She thought someone was watching her. Her mind wasn't right. Zayn pressed on. "Who was she afraid of?" Nora hesitated. "I don't know. She had a USB drive. Something she was protecting." She mentioned Sarah. Zayn's interest spiked. "Who's Sarah?" Nora looked away. "I don't know. She didn't say much." Zayn spotted a pamphlet for Hope for Orphans. On the table, the same name on Layla's USB files. "Where did this come from?" Nora's smile faltered. "It's just a charity I support." Zayn didn't buy it. "You're lying." "This isn't over, Nora." He left anger building. Interview with Kareem Abbas, ex-boyfriend. Zayn found him pacing in his mansion, tense and restless. Karam forced a smile when Zayn entered. "I loved her," Karam said, voice tight, "but she was a liar, always hiding things." Zayn's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean she kept secrets?" Karam snapped. "I tried to help, but her career always came first." Zayn spotted a gold ring on Karam's finger, the same one Layla had worn the night she died. "Where did you get that ring?" Kareem's face reddened. "What are you implying?" he growled, then shoved Zayn toward the door. "Get out." Outside, Zayn's phone buzzed with a message. "Meet me at the warehouse. Bring the evidence. K." It was a warning. Time was running out. Back at his apartment, Zayn felt the weight of the case. Layla's death wasn't an accident. He had to dig deeper. He pulled out her USB drive and plugged it into his laptop. Inside were files labeled Hope for Orphans, Rami's business, and Karam's secrets. The first folder revealed millions, laundered through a fake charity. Layla had uncovered something dangerous. Among the files, Zion found a photo of Kareem and Rami, shaking hands with an arms dealer. This was bigger than a scam. It was criminal, finally. Zayn opened a video titled, "If I'm Gone." Layla appeared pale and shaky, as if she knew what was coming. Layla's last words. Layla's voice trembled. "If you're watching this, I'm dead," she revealed a terrible truth. Hope for Orphans was trafficking children. Layla had tried to stop them, but they threatened Sarah. Now she was gone, leaving this message behind. Zane's heart raced as the video cut out. Who's Sarah? He wondered. Was she a child Layla saved, or her daughter? One thing was certain. Sarah was in danger, and so was Zane. Searching Layla's closet again, Zane found a hidden panel behind the shoe rack, inside a blue eye envelope with another USB drive. This was bigger than he thought. As he prepared to check the drive, a noise startled him. A shadow moved, and suddenly a masked figure stood in the doorway, knife in hand. The flickering lights cast an eerie glow. Zane's heart pounded as the figure stepped closer. Knife raised, he dove aside, narrowly avoiding the slash. The attacker growled, enraged as the blade missed its target. Zane grabbed a metal sculpture from a nearby shelf. He swung it, knocking the figure back. Seizing the moment, Zane shoved the attacker into the wall. They struggled before Zane disarmed him, sending the knife across the floor. Zane pulled off the mask, revealing Kareem. Zane demanded answers. Kareem explained he was forced into this by Ramya Nuro. Suddenly, footsteps echoed. Rami entered, mocking Zane's determination to stop him. Zane vowed to end Rami's operation. In the chaos, Zane disarmed the henchman and stopped Rami from fleeing. The police arrived, arresting Rami and his men. Zane, exhausted but relieved, knew justice had been served. A message from Sarah reminded Zane of his promise. He had protected her, ensuring a brighter future. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.